Oh my god, so much oil.
I'm actually out of oil.
I figured.
This thing is mad.
Oh,
gorgeous.
You got a, right in the oil. Right in the oil.
Right in the oil, I didn't see.
We got the good, come here, we got the good Mustang.
Oh no, that's cheating.
Well, I just stepped in oil. I don't want to get the oil all over the airplane.
It's anti-corrosion.
Sorry, you're gonna have to find me this one first.
Too bad, out.
See what I have to put up with?
Yeah.
On the front of that.
Right here?
Nope, there.
Oh, right there.
You won't listen.
No, I wasn't.
Too excited.
Yes.
This is gorgeous.
Step aside.
Just don't step on the camping rails.
Yeah. Grab right here and here.
Oh, yep. That's perfect.
Yep. I got that oil.
Ah.
I want to know where it's coming.
Oh, yeah. That's coming out of that. Yeah, you want
It's amazing how much
It's coming up from up
more
here.
slim it is in this versus the Corsair.
Yeah, it
It's only
is.
a 24-hour engine.
Now, Mike will tell you a lot more about this than I
So
ever
I'll just pull
could.
it off.
But the Mustang, from what I've heard, it's a trim airplane. Anything you do, any kind of throttle adjustment, anything, you're retrimming it.
Yep.
Pull any radial engine all the way down.
Throttle.
Now more and more, and every time I touch one, it's like, yeah. And then I get that British part of it, you know?
Yeah, well that's the big fun kicker, the whole fun deal.
Being half English, apparently, most people are telling me I seem to get its logic. Which I don't get, but okay, I'll go with it.
I said the Corsair has a lot more like
Yeah,
stuff
but
going on.
this thing, you just wear it.
Yeah. Of course, there's got more room to have.
It's a
stuff going on.
simpler airplane on systems.
Alright,
Like if you want to run down
walk me through it, genius.
If you want to run down on starting procedures, you'd start over here, bottom left. It's an easy flow. Same thing I've been teaching you in the Stearman, I'd teach you in the T6. Flaps up. Then you would go hydraulic release in. That lifts up and pulls in. You want the selector on, in this case, the left main tank. That puts a carburetor return at 10 gallons an hour back into the left tank. If you go right tank, or the others, you're
it'll
blowing
go
it out.
over into
It'll
the
come right
left.
out. No, it'll come out the overboard.
Okay.
Here's what happened to Chuck, though. That.
We just had Matt Jackson put the gun bay tanks in this.
With the master on, you'd come over here. Mixtures and idle cut off down here. You'd come over and you'd prime it. You'd go, some engines like 8 seconds cold, others, Betty Jane likes 12, which is a long time. If it were hot, 1 second. It doesn't seem to matter what Merlin it is. They just seem to like a 1 second shot of prime. So you do that. Then if it's a cold startup, let it run through 4 blades, count 4 blades, mags on. And the throttle would be cracked.
So you'd hit the starter then, let it go through 4 blades, then
Mags
switch the
on.
mags on. Is that kind of helping that fuel get into that cylinder before you switch the mags on?
You're putting the air charge in there, and you got to remember that prop's on a 0.42 to 1 gear reduction, so the engine's actually turning a lot faster.
Is this the same kind of handle that's in Betty Jane?
No, Betty Jane's got the original one. This is a little bit updated. Right about there is where you started at. Right when you hear the micro switch, cracked about an inch.
Oh, okay.
And then so you'd be about 200, 250 mile an hour. I like to come up on the pattern for 360 overhead at about 200 feet below pattern altitude. Flaps 10. And I'll be
You like to get that thing with my tongue's hanging out. You know that, right? You gotta have your tongue.
You're the Michael Jordan of mechanics.
Well, you gotta have your tongue in the right spot. Otherwise, it ain't gonna work.
I like.
So that's how that works. And at a 180-degree point of the brake, you can immediately put the gear down your low gear speed by using that brake turn. Now you can go flaps 20 immediately after you see 3 green lights. You do not ever want to put both the gear and the flaps down at the same time. It's too much on the system. It's the same as the T6 as far as it. This airplane, it has it in the standard location. The hydraulic pressure down here. You should see it. And it's about the same range as the about 90.
Hey Mike, is it true that you don't like say for example in the overhead when you got maybe a little bit of G on the airplane, not much, but are you supposed to not lower the gear?
I don't put the gear down in the actual brake. I do it as I'm rolling out at 180 degrees. Unlike a T6.
You know,
You ready to go flying?
Yes. I'll buy the gas. Nice. Ooh, these guys. Under your brakes. The amazing thing about this airplane too, the first time you'll bring it all the way up, like 54 or 61 for takeoff, and you make power back to 40 inches for your climb out. The prop coming back to 25 or 2700, you'll just keep pulling on this thing. You'll be all the way back almost halfway on this thing before you actually see it. You just keep pulling and pulling. You're like, when is this thing going to move? It's a slow acting prop lever by comparison.
It's not dual control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
It is?
8 degrees.
Yeah. Just
Oh, I see it. I was sitting there like before.
Right after Scott bought it, that was the first thing he did. He shot Matt Jackson, sent him with Matt Jackson over to Van Nuys for this fuel tanks.
That was
fuel
smart.
bladders and for the dual controls.
Other thing I was taught to do with this airplane too is when you get in the pattern, you get the gear out on that setup before you bring in the last few notches of flaps. Dial this critter back over at about 6 degrees right rudder.
In case for a go around.
If you need to go around, you do
Yeah,
not
smart.
want to be doing that. You're better off having that extra foot on there, because once the plane slows up and the power's off, it's not even noticeable.
Really?
Yeah. And you just land with it like that. So that way, if you have to do a go around, and generally, if you're smart about a go around, I had to do 3 on one ride.
Really?
Last February.
People on the runway or what?
It's just pulling out in front of you. Or
Oh gosh.
It just
Uncontrolled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Venice Beach.
Okay.
Valentine's weekend, so you can kind of guess. Up to 40 inches, sometimes you can go as low as 36 inches if you've got enough airspeed, and then you bleed up a notch of flaps, and you better be careful about bleeding up the flaps. Keep the nose down, keep your airspeed up on the airplane, let it do its thing, and get it to about half flap, then you don't care to bring the gear up next, and then you're clear sailing, but you don't go cobbing this thing by any means. Otherwise, you're going to watch the world spin. And here's your emergency release up here. So you duck down and that pulled the whole thing. And the other thing they have right here, if the canopy is closed and you need to open it, there's a push button over here that moves this same lock piece here. So you push that button and then you can roll the canopy back a little bit. And you have a handle on the side.
So which one's your favorite, the Corsair or the Mustang?
Oh, I don't know.
If someone said you have to go flying in one of them right now, and you can only pick one,
Bye.
Bye, Mike. Which one would you pick?
That's a tough choice. I would honestly probably have to say the Corsair.
There you go.
I was gonna say everybody would pick the P-51 Mustang, but I honestly would probably pick the Corsair just because
Yeah,
it's also
I would
radial.
too. I would too.
I don't know. Depends on what I'm doing in it, yes.
Yeah.
Love them both.
Yeah. It's a win-win, you know?
This video was brought to you by the Mid-America Flight Museum and Victor Premium Dog Food. Hi, I'm Eric Johnston. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and subscribe to my channel to enjoy many more aviation videos to come.